The story continues as Roxy plans to sneak out of the house without anyone noticing. However, Fate catches her in the act. Roxy tells Fate not to surprise her like that, and he apologizes. He didn't recognize her because she looked different. He wonders if she's going to the fort dressed that way. Roxy explains that she had no choice but to go out since Fate already noticed her. She whispers to Fate that she's about to do a secret inspection in town and asks him to keep it a secret from the others. She's worried that Haru will be angry if she finds out. Fate understands and tries to go back to work, but Roxy asks him to accompany her on the inspection. The scene then shifts to Fate and Roxy in town. Fate reminds Roxy not to use her real name, as it would blow her cover. Roxy agrees and asks him to call her Lexi for the day. Greedy comments that it doesn't make a difference, but Fate tells him to be quiet. Roxy thinks Fate said that to her, and apologizes for being noisy. Fate clarifies that he wasn't talking to her, and says she's not noisy at all, which makes Roxy happy. She admits she got a little excited because she was with Fate, and they both get embarrassed. Greedy remarks that it must be nice to be young. Fate tries to throw Greedy, but Roxy intervenes, saying she won't allow Fate to be rough with his sword. She mentions that this is the first time she's seen Fate's sword, which makes Fate worry that it might seem suspicious, as people with non-combat skills usually don't carry swords. Fate realizes he can't let Roxy know about his gluttony skill. He accidentally drops his sword, but Roxy catches it. She suggests that he should do some maintenance on the sword and mentions taking Fate to the Heart Smithy later. Fate thanks Roxy, and thinks that Greed must be happy because they might finally get to do some maintenance on him. Roxy and Fate hurry to the main market in town. Roxy notices some fine grapes at a shop. The shopkeeper says these grapes were picked from Heart's territory that morning. Roxy wants to taste them, and the shopkeeper gives her a few to try. Fate tastes them too and finds them really good. Roxy mentions that the grapes came from her house. The shopkeeper is confused, and Greed suggests that Fate tell the shopkeeper that Roxy's relatives work in Heart's territory. Fate does so, and Roxy thanks him for the quick save. Someone then alerts them that the Holy Knights are coming, and everyone in the market clears a path for them. People think that since Lord Mason's passing, even the lowest-ranking Holy Knights have become overbearing. Fate's stomach growls, and the Holy Knight hears it. He realizes it was Fate's stomach and asks him to apologize. The Holy Knight can't hear him and tries to kick Fate, but Roxy intervenes and says Fate already apologized. The Holy Knight thinks Roxy's face looks familiar, and the people gathered around believe she looks like Lady Roxy. Greed suggests that Fate should pretend to be Roxy's lover and flirt with her to keep her true identity a secret. Fate says he can't flirt with Roxy. Roxy hears the Holy Knight's comment and decides to pretend to be Fate's lover. She scolds Fate for skipping breakfast and warns him that she won't make breakfast for him again if he doesn't eat it. They act like a couple, fooling everyone around, who now think that she can't be Roxy. Roxy tells the Holy Knight that she will make sure Fate eats properly next time, and they leave. Fate overhears Roxy's thoughts and realizes she's never put her arm around a man before, and she's still feeling excited. He lets go of her arm and apologizes, but Roxy says it's no big deal because she's used to it. Fate thinks that being Lady Roxy's escort is too difficult, and they go to a gem store. Roxy mentions her interest in such things because she's a girl, and asks the shopkeeper if these are also gems. The shopkeeper explains that these are gem ores, and they need to be broken to see if they have gems inside. He mentions they cost 10 copper each. Greed suggests that Fate could use appraisal to find the gems inside in one go. Fate does so and finds a gem inside one of the ores. He thinks that Roxy looks like a normal girl right now. The shopkeeper offers to sell the gem for a silver coin, saying it's a good gift for Fate's girlfriend. Roxy thanks the shopkeeper, and they leave. Roxy then asks Fate if he knows any warriors. Fate mentions Oliver and Menura, and Roxy wonders if he knows someone who's still active. They overhear people talking about a rumor of a stray monster, and one person mentions a warrior who supposedly gives Goblin King's ears to an orphanage. Roxy wants to know more about this story and what else they know about the stray monster. The people suggest that Roxy should talk to the warriors about the stray monster, and they leave. Roxy then asks Fate to take her to a place where the warriors gather. Fate wonders if this is part of the inspection. Roxy explains that it's an inspection for the recently appeared stray monster near the capital. The scene shifts to Fate going to a restaurant he often visits. The master is surprised to see that Fate is still alive. Fate introduces Roxy as Lexi and says she's his senior at his new workplace. The master didn't expect Fate to show up with a girlfriend, which embarrasses both Fate and Roxy. Later, the master mentions a warrior who made a fortune by collecting intact goblin ears. Roxy thinks that a true warrior wouldn't leave the goblin rewards behind, suggesting it's the work of the stray monster. The master explains that it's bad for business because they have to pass through the Goblin Meadows if they want to do business in the capital. If there's an unknown monster there, nobody will want to go through that area. Fate feels responsible for this situation. An old man named Ad arrives, and Fate knows him. The old man believes the stray monster is likely a lick, and he's heard that the Holy Knights will move to subjugate it. Fate realizes he can't afford to have the Holy Knights as his enemies right now, and the old man asks Roxy why she cares so much about the stray monster. Some warriors enter the restaurant, order drinks and food, and one of them tries to flirt with Roxy. Roxy flicks him away with her finger, surprising the warriors. Roxy reveals herself, apologizes for the deception, and the warriors ask for forgiveness for their rude behavior, offering money to spare their lives. Roxy admits feeling ashamed that the Holy Knights, who are meant to protect the people, are now feared by them. She explains that her father had wished for a world where they could all laugh together with the people, and she shares the same wish. Fate decides that he will stay with Roxy until her wish becomes a reality. Roxy then has some fun with the people in the restaurant. The scene shifts to Greed getting maintenance from a blacksmith. Afterward, Fate thanks Roxy for her help, and she thanks him for helping her find out about the stray monster. Fate wonders why Roxy didn't already know about it. Roxy speculates that the information might have been blocked from reaching her. They hear Hado's voice and go to see what's happening. Roxy notices Hado behaving poorly with a child. Memel explains that they were given custody of this lost child. Roxy is confused about what kind of custody this means. Fate follows Roxy's orders to free the child from Hado, and Roxy decides to take care of the child from here. Roxy asks Raphael why he didn't tell her about the stray monster. Raphael thought Roxy was still thinking about her late father. Roxy reassures him that she's fine now, and Raphael understands. The Varric siblings leave. The child then expresses his dislike for the Holy Knights, and Fate asks if he's lost. The child mentions that he came with his mom, and Fate says they will help him find her. Roxy and Fate search the town for the lost child's mother. Fate recalls a time when he was lost in the city as well, 5 years ago when his father passed away. He remembers how a Holy Knight helped him back then and wonders how she is doing now. They manage to find the kid's mother, and she thanks them for looking out for her child. Fate is relieved that they found her, and suggests they head back before they get scolded. Roxy asks if Fate will stay with her during the scolding, and he agrees. The scene shifts to them being scolded by Haru. Afterward, Fate realizes he needs a way to hunt monsters without being noticed by Lady Roxy. Greed suggests a solution, showing Fate a mask in one of the shops in town. Greed explains that it's a magical item that can conceal someone's identity. Fate thinks it's perfect for his needs and decides to stop by the gem store. The scene then shows Fate giving Roxy a gem ore as a way of thanking her for hiring him. Roxy notices that there's a gem inside the ore and finds it beautiful. She promises to treasure it and asks Fate what he would like in return. She offers a whetstone or a year's supply of meat, but Fate says he doesn't want anything. Greed advises Fate not to refuse the offer and suggests he ask for the whetstone. Meanwhile, the other Holy Knights are having a meeting to discuss their expedition to Galia. This brings an end to episode 3. If you enjoyed it, then make sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell to keep getting new anime recap updates.